Hello viewers and welcome to this edition of TFN News Review. I am Sajo Brito. In today's edition, the Director of Diaspora and Migration at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad has confirmed plans to repatriate over 80 irregular Gambian migrants stranded in the Niger desert. NPP Ahmad Jite has told the Fatu Network that he is confident that the National People's Party will make him its candidate in the Brikama Area Council chairmanship election. Residents explain challenges posed by the OIC road construction. As the famous Bob Keita rape case continues in court, police have arrested 2 people regarding late baby Mohammed's death. The Gambia Police Force is also said to be working with Interpol to expedite the return of Seinabu Mbai, aunt to the deceased child and ex-wife of Bob Keita. And in the studio, we have Kex Asane, who has been following the Bob Keita case since the beginning. He will be taking us through the background of exactly what happened during the case and recent developments around it. All of these and more coming up shortly after the break. Welcome back, viewers. Now we take a look at the newspapers. 2 arrested over death of child in Bob Keita's trial. Police have arrested 2 persons over the unexplained death of a 2-year-old child who is at the center of a dramatic rape trial involving famous youth activist Boubacar Keita. The businessman is being tried for the alleged rape of his ex-wife's underage sister, resulting in a pregnancy in 2019. He denied the charges. The child died last week, days after the court ordered for his blood sample, that of the accused person and suspected boyfriend of his mother, to be taken for a DNA test. The police yesterday disclosed that the said child died under negligent circumstances. They have opened a swift probe into the circumstances surrounding the incident with a view to prosecuting all individuals found wanting in the death of the child. Meanwhile, Bachelet confirms breakup with President Barrow after being denied access to meet him. The leader of the Gambia Action Party, Musa Yali Bachelet, has confirmed breaking all political ties with President Barrow's National People's Party after he was denied access to see the Gambian president. The GAP founder and several other opposition parties and independent candidates last year rallied behind Barrow's NPP to support his re-election bid. The president had promised to allocate a handful of government positions to his coalition partners, but he has only appointed Fabakary Tombong Jatta out of the political leaders who joined his boss last year. Some of the political parties have announced plans to form a coalition of their own. Also, Jammeh to Justice tells Ghana to engage Gambia over compensations. The Jammeh to Justice J2J has called on the government of Ghana to immediately initiate discussions with the Gambia government to pay the promised compensation to the families of West African migrants. The West African migrants, including more than 44 Ghanaians, were unlawfully killed in the Gambia in 2005. Following the findings by the Gambia Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission that ex-President Jammeh and 12 others under his command and control were responsible for the unlawful killing, torture and enforced disappearances of 50 West African migrants, the Gambia government on May 25, 2022 accepted the recommendations of the TRRC to pay a sum of $32 million as compensation to the victims of the 2005 massacre. Also, 33 new buses commissioned to ease urban transportation. President Adama Barrow yesterday commissioned 38 new vehicles of the Gambia Transport Services Corporation, otherwise GTSC, worth $2.7 million. The 38 vehicles comprising 33 buses, 1 heavy-duty truck and 4 pickup trucks were inaugurated at the Makati Squares in Banjul. The project, according to GTSC, was pre-funded through a supplier credit arrangement with Q Group, which won a competitive bid, according to the corporation. CPA calls for investigation into Charles' death. The Child Protection Alliance has expressed dismay over the circumstances surrounding the death of one Mohammed, the child at the center of Boubacar Keita's rape trial. The boy was left unattended in a locked car for nearly 4 hours. He later developed complications and eventually died in a hospital in Dakar, Senegal. That's it for the papers. Let's go for a break and we'll be right back with more stories. Stay tuned. Now, the OIC Gambia Secretariat has described as fake and grossly misleading the email message purportedly from a Radisson Blu staff about the Radisson Blu Banjul project. The supposed staff, a certain Christian writer, said Radisson Blu has no project in the Gambia. More in this report.
President Adama Barrow is set to lay the foundation stone for a 5-star Radisson Blu hotel on Sunday, 23rd July 2022. However, an email message is being circulated on social media that Radisson Hotel Group did not sign any project with the Gambia at this moment, adding that they have a diligent process in place to ensure they partner with the right business partners. The OIC Gambia Secretariat has described as fake and grossly misleading the email message purportedly from a Radisson Blu staff about the Radisson Blu Banjul project. The supposed staff.
The Director of Diaspora and Migration at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad has confirmed plans to repatriate over 80 irregular Gambian migrants stranded in Niger. The migrants are said to be stranded in Niger and are calling on Gambian authorities to bring them home. More in this report by Dauda Balde.
Musa Kamara, Director of Diaspora and Migration Directorate at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, has confirmed to the FAT network that plans are ongoing for the repatriation of over 80 irregular Gambian migrants stranded in Niger Delta. Mr. Kamara made these remarks while responding to concerns raised by the migrants who are currently kept at refugee camps in Niger. Ibrahim Dambele, one of the stranded migrants, said they are facing numerous challenges at the desert with little food to eat. He said they are housed in UN camps where they await deportation.
Domoro ina be pichu menate. Domoro nakana mul ka borile. So domoro buka moshi. You can understand. Domoro buka moshi. La mul bukila no kono to bago kono. Eka baso kono. Eka understand. Baso kono. Mul bukila no je. Kon second kambo kono mul kela bangoldo. Ka baso feni ni mambasa soto ye la dum. So sa inde sula da munela gameno mul mako ye mul bondijang. Ye mul right fight ye mul bondijang because yalone jam bangudin kabuja la mol ke la right fight ye finti jaita so ninde la mol man right fight be terrajanne almost.
He said that they are living in terrible conditions in Niger, adding that they embark on the journey to search for greener pastures, but confirmed that life has been extremely difficult for them. A video footage obtained by this medium shows a terrible situation of migrants at the desert. Musa Kamara, Director of Diaspora and Migration Directorate at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, said the ministry is aware of the stranded Gambian migrants in Niger, revealing that plans are on the way for their repatriation.
I've shared their information with IOM, the Gambia, who is in touch with IOM in Niger, working on their repatriation. IOM is is a UN agency responsible for migration, and they facilitate such with governments. We're in touch with them, and they're working on their repatriation. Now they have to prepare a non-scheduled flight to bring them, and you have many other citizens. There are thousands over there. So IOM has their arrangement in terms of how they repatriate them to their various countries, depending on their population.
As part of their efforts to identify the actual Gambians among the migrants, he said they are conducting online interviews with the migrants to confirm their identities.
What we do as a government is we work on their identification. They have to be identified and confirmed that they are Gambians. Sometimes some would claim they are Gambians when they are not. Maybe they are from other countries, they committed a crime, and they don't want to return back to their country. So while on the way to travel to Europe through the irregular way, when they are deported, they would want to go to another country. So we have to identify and confirm those that are Gambians. We do this through online. They can be interviewed online. We've done it again and again.
The country is still challenged with youth unemployment, a situation often cited to be a major reason for irregular migration, especially among youth. For TFA News, Dauda Balde. Musa Kamara.
Now, residents have told the Fatu Network that the construction of the OIC road is posing major challenges, especially during the rainy seasons. Jankei Toure has more on that story.
In a bid to host the OIC summit in the Gambia later this year, infrastructural activities are ongoing to make the event a success. However, the ongoing OIC Road Gambia project, which is expected to be completed in 14 months, is said to have caused challenges for drivers and residents along the Batil Hardin Highway. Speaking to the Fatu Network, Mahmoud Kande explains the impact of stagnant water along the road and the behavior of drivers piling the sideways of the road.
Ta gis nga fi yoon bi ndox bi su ñëwee te ndox yi marché bi su ñëwee na lay awee fii yoon yi ndox la ca ba nga fi mu ni xawal lii gasoon nañ ko wante mooy loolu gaa nañ ko fotaat understand nga sa ndox bi su ñëwee du mun am fu moo jara taw bi am na nu moo amee doole ndox bi dafa eeg mun na moo dugg si kër ca ba nga lii yëpp ñoo ko fotaat doon dugg ba si biir kër yi ndox bi amul fu moo jara so loolu real problème la den si voilà sona ak nawet baa ngi dugg ñoo xaar ba si nawet bi dugg dañu commencé yoon mooy loolu beneen jafe-jafe ngay gis ni
Abdoulaye Sane, a car mechanic within the vicinity, expresses his frustration over the sideways created for drivers to pile while the main road is under construction.
Okay, right now, ñu ngi jànkuwante ay problème yu bari right now because yooni teggin buñ defar ni pour moto yi di ci jàlla comme taw bi stoyé mu am doole especially moto yi ndaw duñu mëna jàlla fii nii ak tan suñ bunti garage fii nii yëpp day fees tap ak ndox understand nga te compagnie mu mag la understand ndox bi yëpp day fees day taxaw fii nii fees tepp so moto pour mu dugg sa day nekk problème understand. So over this stop.
Usman Jaju, a passenger, called on the government and the contractors to fasten the construction of the road, saying that people are experiencing many challenges.
Science, I imagine panta phone, you know, karun slow ni traffic ko slow ni mambetia, so lava ka slow cross pro masala kendo soro, but among possible non panta, so mbijang al trola jela sama konon ka batale ale jio jela benyamen, but ninsa soro no mansakunda buli blow ma tarea nga slow ni betia.
Reporting for the Fatu Network, Jenke Turi.
Now moving on to politics, NPP's Ahmad Jite has said he is confident that the National People's Party will make him its candidate in next year's local government elections for the Brikama Area Council chairmanship. He said he is the right man for the job. He explains more to our reporter, Mohammed Lamin Drami.
Even if NPP did not select Ahmad Jida, what is going to happen?
So there may be events of no if. So I believe there will be no if.
So you are confident that NPP will select you as the candidate?
100% confident.
Now tell us, why do you want to be the chairman of Brikama Area Council?
Because there are a lot of things that we need to fix in Brikama Area Council, in West Coast.
Let's talk about them.
One, you are from Brikama. Brikama is the capital of West Coast region. When it rains, for example, in Brikama, it's very tough. Communication is a very big problem. Brikama is our capital. The market is very small right now. It's congested, and it's not very, much to standard infrastructurally.
Okay.
We have to change that. Drainage systems, when it rains, A lot of people settle on waterways, and water, goes and parks itself somewhere that is not okay. You have a lot of floods in Brikama destroying people's properties. And it's one of the few regions or few settlements where you receive a lot of rain because of the forest. So those things need to be fixed. They have not. But what does development, what actually drives development is income generation. The way income is generated in West Coast region is very inefficient.
How is
As the famous Bob Keita's case continues in court, police have arrested 2 people regarding late baby Mohammed's death and are said to be working with Interpol to expedite the return of Sainabou Mbaye, nephew to the deceased child and wife of Bob Keita. More in this report.
Police have arrested Cherno Mbaye and Kibili Dambele for their alleged involvement in the incident that led to the death of Mohamed Mbaye, the child at the heart of Bob Keita rape trial, who, according to the police, are helping them in their investigations. The police have also confirmed contacting Sainabou Mbaye, Bob Keita's ex-wife, to expedite her return with the deceased for autopsy and further medical examination, but she is yet to return to the Gambia. As a result, the IGP's office has initiated contact through Interpol to swiftly facilitate her return to the Gambia alongside the deceased. Mohamed Mbaye was allegedly left in a vehicle with all doors and windows locked. He passed out in the vehicle and was rushed to Afrimed Clinic, then to Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, and subsequently flown to Dakar on Monday, 4th July 2022, with his auntie, Sainabou Mbaye. News emerged on the 10th of July that he died in Dakar. Police have arrested Cherno Mbaye and Kibili Dambele.
Hello, Sister Njai here, and today we are doing the unboxing of the AfriCell 4G LTE CPE router. Have you gotten yours yet? Here it is. Alright, now let's do the unboxing of the AfriCell 4G CPE router. I love the sound of opening new stuff. And this right here is a beauty. What you don't know is it also takes you for an extra 6 hours of charge when there's no power. No power, no problem. Get your CPE routers now at your nearest AfriCell outlet and thank me later.
Welcome back. So one issue that has been discussed in many quarters in the famous Bob Keita is the famous Bob Keita rape trial. Mr. Keita was accused of raping the wife's younger sister. The case has been ongoing for over 2 years now. There is a huge call from the public for him to be released as his supporters turn up in court whenever he appears for trial. One person who has been following the case since the beginning is Keks Sane, a political activist and social commentator. We have him in the studio today and will be taking us through the background and recent developments of the case. Welcome to the Fatu Network, Keks Sane.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Sajo, for inviting me to this platform.
Thank you, Keks. You have been one person who have extensively followed and covered this rape trial, which quite honestly is unprecedented in the Gambia. Now, tell us, without risking contempt of court, why has an alleged rapist garnered so much support?
Yeah, actually, for the first time, in the history of the Gambia, even an individual who is actually even charged for any crime, to have such type of support we have been seeing, but most of the time it happens when you see crowd gathering at the court. It's either a political trial or something like one political party or one of their leader. But an individual case like this, you see how people were very interested to the extent that last Thursday the court was full up to last Monday the court was full up to its capacity. It's something that somebody will ask, what is the cause of this? But I think actually the delayance in Bob's case has triggered this whole issue. That's why people feel like there has been injustice in regards to his matter. And this came in when the presiding judge, refused to come for the trial after almost 30-something times of adjournment, and with the excuse that his driver didn't pick him up to come and attend the court. And this was published on newspapers and various platforms. And people feel like that, how can you keep somebody in mind when you just said it because of your driver didn't come and pick you? So this has, since that, then people have started building interest in the case, and they have been following, and the issue of this whole rape issue was following up. But it's clicked the minds of the people when actually they asked for the blood sample, and the next minute they said the baby is sick, they travel to Dakar, and this whole date issue comes. Then people start to ask 1 or 2 questions. Is this for real? No, then they start having this campaign of free Bob Keita, free Bob Keita.
So this trial has been ongoing for almost 2 years now, and like you just mentioned, so many events have unfolded so far. In the beginning of this case, it didn't attract that much attention like it does now. What changed?
Yeah, actually, like I said, for me, I think it's the person who actually was the alleged complainant. People have been observing, her activities and other things, and they start to add 1+1 in regards to what are the material evidence that were actually presented in the court, and the manner and the way, the court has been adjourned, and even they are present, because even the issue of she was not on exams and other things, she was absent, and people start to question that on social media, that there was no exam going on, and the person who accused somebody of rape refused to go to court, claiming that she was on exam. And actually people, I don't know whether it's true because I don't go to the school to confirm, but when I made that post that the court could not proceed today because the girl was on an exam, people question which exam. They said if it is the grade 9 they have finished, if it is the grade 12 they didn't start it. So they said that which school is she? So they start to question. So people start to look at the matter in another direction, actually whether this thing is for real. So then people start to build interest in the case, and with this issue of blood sample will be taken in the next minute, you don't see that the child is sick, he was left in a car, then it's put doubts in the minds of the people. I think this has a trigger the women support that Bob have in regards to this issue. And the following day when the court was there, we see that the entire courtroom was full to its capacity because they feel like there is injustice in the whole trial.
So we know that this case is still in the courts, and of course looking at everything, you would realize that a cross-section of people have already found the accused guilty of what he's already been found guilty according to these people. And then we have another section who are calling for his release because they believe that he is in fact innocent, but this is before even the final verdict of the court. Why has this particular case divided so much opinions?
Yeah, we have so much opinions. You have almost 3 camps now. Before it was 2 camps. The others said Bob is innocent.
And then we have the guilty camp.
That he's guilty of the crime before the trial of the...
Which one is the third camp?
Yeah, so then after that, then now people are now saying justice for Mohammed. Camp 2 is there. So another camp emerged after the death of the child. So it becomes 3 camps now. But before it was 2 camps. And they all have their opinion in regards to the issue. But for me, what we believe in is actually innocent until proven guilty. And the burden was lying on the state, who are the prosecutors, to convince the court beyond any reasonable doubt that actually Bob is guilty of the crime he is accused of. And the process has been going on so far, and it's not yet to its conclusion. So I don't think anybody should actually feel like, okay, he's guilty. But with the regards of how things are unfolding, I think people tend to make their own conclusion that, okay, if this is the case, then why are they not coming out? Why are they running from when they should be the ones who should be ready to present evidence? When they requested for the blood sample, that was the time this whole issue of Mohammed was sick, and the next minute he was flown to Dakar. Okay, he is now in Dakar. Okay, he's dead, but we already collect the blood sample before the ruling of the court itself, because the court ruling should give you the order for you to do that, but you went and do that before the court. So people look at the whole issue and they said, okay, let's hold on and look at the whole issue, how it's going. Then others start to make their mind that, okay, Bob is innocent. Why is the other camp that have already been convicted and sentenced Bob even before the trial still maintain their position that, okay, he's guilty of the crime before even the court make their decision? So these are the things, these are the 2 camps that we have. But I know the ones that are saying Bob, because with how the trend the case is going, and the people who accuse him are actually not helping the state prosecution in terms of defending their case, because if they are still presently still in Senegal. And the last time when we met at the Edward Francis Teaching Hospital, they told us that they want, they will bring the dead body of the child so that they will take another blood sample from the child to compare with the earlier blood that was taken from, because the Bob Camp has questioned the transparency of the first blood that was extracted from the child. So they didn't actually take that as something seriously, and they are disregarding that one. So the state prosecutors are actually ready, and they told about up to now, today's almost 12 days, we could not proceed, and still now Bob blood sample and the boyfriend is still on RVTH inside a refrigerator, for how long. And from there, we don't have a place where we'll do the DNA. It has to travel to somewhere, the transportation and everything, the process. So they feel like, okay, these are the very people who should have helped the state. Okay, you travel with somebody to Senegal and it passes away. What is so difficult to just take a car or a flight and just come along with you? Because the person died in a private hospital, they don't keep people at a private hospital. If you lose if the person died, they just release you and the person died. But up to today, they are not here. So these are the things that people make, start to put in place and feel like, okay, that's a foul play in the whole issue. And you have the divided camp, people or others that are in favor of Bob Aceh, and that he is guilty of the crime that he was.
It will be left for the courts to decide that. But talking about the sample, why did the accused object from his sample being taken back in 2001?
The accused refusing his sample to be taken.
To be taken?
Yeah, actually, I'm not. That was not before. But what happens in, after the police, this matter was first put into the police for them to investigate, and the police have done a thorough investigation in regards to this issue, and they came up with a recommendation. And in their recommendation, they made it very clear that these guys can be charged for defilement for now, and pending the girl delivery. If the girl is delivered, then they can take the blood sample of the two parties, that's the boyfriend and Bob Keita.
So who was going to be charged for defilement?
Both of them, because
both of them.
The child was under 16. So if you have any love relationship with the child, since he have alleged that Bob has slept with him and he have a boyfriend, through their conversation they find out that actually they were exchanging love messages to each other. So it's assumption that they were having a relationship. But at that time the child was just 15 years or 16 years allegedly. So that means that she's a minor, and in this law, the law, protect these people. So they were all recommended to be charged for that for now, pending the delivery of the child. So if it's happened, then a blood sample will be taken, and whoever is found to be the father of the child then will be charged for rape, and this was the recommendation. But when it goes to because the Ministry of Justice gives them legal advice what to do. So after studying the document and the recommendation, they end up charging Bob, because they said the child has never mentioned anywhere that he said Bob is the only person, since she know herself that she slept with, she have never slept with another man, and he have not accused the boyfriend. So charging the boyfriend, will not be in line. So they decided to charge Bob for the rape allegation. So since that, the trial has been going on, and Bob, according to him, he was willing at that time that he is ready to even
to submit
his blood, for them to go for a DNA test if the girl even gave birth. But at that time, at material time, the prosecutions were gathering their evidence in terms of trying to defend their case in the court, and they have tried that successfully by bringing almost 8 state witness that comes before the court, and they give testimony from the police officers that take the statement to the family of Asena Bombay and the sister, and the mom and the doctor that conducted the examination on the child. So many, until 8 witnesses came before the court. So up to the last minute, then the state, after all the cross-examine and everything, the defense team to also do the cross-examine of those witnesses that came before the court, and they now made an application that now they are moving forward by requesting for a DNA test to be conducted as an evidence that will be presented before the court. So they have made an application before the court that they want Bob to compel for the court to compel Bob for him to take the blood sample of him, which will be drawn from him, and that of the baby, for it to be used in a lab to determine the paternity of the child, who is the father of the child, and they will use that results, the DNA results, as their evidence before the court. So when this...
Yes, but then we also have, like I said, people have been so opinionated about this trial, and it has also bring so much divided opinions. And part of the argument that people are saying is that the question has never been about, paternity. This is about rape that we are talking about. How do you explain that?
Yeah, actually, that has been the argument of the defense team of Bob. when that application was made by the state, he also replied in point of law that actually, he is not in support of the motion or the application that the state has forwarded, because what Bob is charged of is a rape. And rape, paternity doesn't prove rape. It's only the DNA doesn't prove a rape. It only proves the paternity of the child, and this is not what is before the court. If that is before the court, they could have gone in for a civil suit and just ask for at the delivery of the child to do a DNA job. But this is a rape, and secondly, Bob cannot help the state since they are prosecuting him. For him to help them in their prosecution, because by Bob accepting him, for his blood to be taken, meaning that he's helping people who are prosecuting him, by helping them to give them an evidence against him that will be used against him in court of law. But he didn't also say, he also emphasized on the fundamental rights of citizens, the right of privacy, that this is his privacy and there should be no law that should compel somebody, to extract a profit from the person. So he said that for the whole application, he's definitely against the application, but this was debated at the end of the day. The presiding judge made a ruling in this area, and that was precisely on the 7th of July. The judge make a ruling that, okay, he's compelling Bob, he's passing an order for
to
Bob,
take a DNA test.
DNA Bob, but he also had the boyfriend. By then, the boyfriend was not in the picture because he was never charged for any crime, so he's not before the court. But through his own discretion, he has also added the boyfriend into the sample collection, and Bob was compelled. They compelled Bob and the boyfriend and that of baby Mohammed. But a day before, before that, the ruling, after the ruling, it was a verbal ruling. Actually, they didn't serve both parties. So and the court, the defense team requested for the ruling, and the judge promised them that the ruling will be ready in 2 days' time. So that ruling will be the document that will be served. But the defense counsel was very quick to say that he is waiting for the ruling since he's not here, for him to at least study the document and advise himself, and he will talk to his client, that's Boubacar Kera, whether they will appeal against the ruling or they will go ahead and do the DNA and give their blood sample. But they must first receive the ruling, and this was never given. And we went for the Toboski, and the Toboski fees. We came on just last week on Monday, on the 13th. Precisely, on this on the 13th we came, and the police prosecution by the name Kimben Keita came before the court, and he said he's ready to enforce the court order that has been ruled on the 7th that Bob should compel himself to a sample collection.
So I am so glad you mentioned the word charge, because if you follow the conversation, a lot of people are asking for his immediate release. Do we have to agree that when you are charged with such kinds of offenses, it's not bailable, right? Can you clear that part?
Yeah, actually, there's always been a debate from people who understand actually the law. If you go to the criminal procedure, they are saying this sort of crimes are not unbailable. But if you look at the Constitution 2 is telling you there is no crime that is unbailable, and this has been a debate, and there was an appeal before the Court of Appeal. So people are having different opinion. Even yesterday, I saw an article written by one lawyer in the UK, say that we should at least make an amendment in terms of our laws, so that the Constitution and the criminal procedures will be speaking the same language. But the Constitution is telling you that there should be no crime that should be unbailable. But
and then it's telling you a totally different thing.
Telling you different things. So there is a disagreement with the whole issue. But as we stand now, this has been the route or the procedure so far. Certain crimes like treason and other things, or rape of minors, the law is saying that it's unbailable.
You cannot be bailed.
And there is a debate around the whole issue. So I think the court should help us, and the Supreme Court should help us in terms of the interpretation of the law for us to understand very well, so that it will be clear to every citizen. So they were demanding for actually for the release of bail, but I think they are not just demanding because of injustice. They feel like there is injustice that is there, because when I ask them why are you actually requesting, most of them will tell you that because there is no fair trial in the whole process. There is no transparency, because how can you take a blood sample of somebody when the parties that are involved were
not present?
We are not present, so they feel like okay, Bob was not given the fair trial that he deserved, and this is why they are calling for his immediate release. But this is a court of law, and I think we all, fairness, we should follow the due process of the law. And if you believe that he is innocent, we should all follow the due process of the law. So I think the matter is before the court, but people are seeing evidence of actually, or start doubting actually whether the accusation that is levied on him, whether it's actually even true, based on how
contempt of court. Contempt of court, Kex. We leave that for the courts to decide. But let's go back to the different groups that have emerged since, you know, this whole rape saga came about. You know, it's an open secret that you actually have been, you know, calling for a free, fair and just trial for Bob Keita. My question is, if Bob is found guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt, what would that mean for your relationship, and would you continue to defend his actions?
Yeah, actually, I even told Bob prior to even this, when I first visited him, that was precisely around 2000, when the whole issue, 2000 or not 2001, something early of 2000. I went and at Mile 2, we sat down and I told him very clearly, Bob, I want you to talk to me as a brother. You know, this is nothing. Tell me and I will be there. Whether you do it or you don't do it, I will be there for you. But I want you to tell me so that when I'm fighting out, and he told me in my face, Kex, I had all the opportunity to go. I have my visa. He showed me the visa. He said I should have left this country for far too long. But I refused to go because I wanted to clear the accusation that was leveled against me. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm very clear that I have not done this and I will not move anywhere until I clear myself. I said, okay, that's fine. And for me, that's what I believe in up to today. But if he is found guilty, I told him that, know that you have a friend. I will be here with you anytime, you know, the opportunity is there for me to come and visit you. But I will be the first person also to denounce you at anywhere that, you know, what you have done is inhuman, is not accepted in anywhere in our values, in our cultures, in our law. I will be the first when the judgment is read before me to denounce, until it is turned out maybe at the court of appeal. I will come out and denounce you because every citizen. But if you didn't do it, I mean, I will come out, I mean, and defend you. And up to that day, I'm here, I'm defending him. I give him the benefit of that. I believe that he's innocent of the crime until is proven by the court of law, and that's my opinion irrespective of that. But I'm not supporting him because what he told me, I sat with him and we discussed this thoroughly, and I pushed him to the level and he convinced me that he is not, and I believe in him. And up to today, that's why I'm there for him and I'm supporting him, and I make sure that the court should be transparent to everybody so that they will see it. That's why I made it deliberately upon myself to be following the proceedings so that people will know what actually transpired there. Because if you allow it's not been captured by the media house, then at the end of the day we will know what actually transpired in the court. And this is why I take it upon myself every day I go to the court to make sure that whatever happens in the court, even if they sit in private, I deliberately do that. Like others say, okay, they are having, because the minor was testifying, so they you know, protecting her image. Yes. You know, it's not open door court. But I go there, and after the court, I'll just gather small so that people know every step that has been taken, so that, you know, we can hold whoever is found wanting by the law accountable. Yes. So, and that will never spoil my relationship with Bob. I told him that you have a brother, whether guilty or innocent, know that you have a brother who will be there for you.
And now back to the opinion of the people. I think last time I saw someone wrote on Facebook that Gambia is a very weird country. This is where someone is a complainant, so someone is a victim at the same time, you know, someone is a legal mind at the same time. I mean, do you think that legal and non-legal minds attempting to form opinions on substantive matters before the court can contribute to undermining the entire process? Because it can be a little bit complicated, you know, for maybe people like me who are not very well versed with law.
Yeah, but actually, you know, people have to understand that every human being too has a right of his opinion. And if certain issues that attract so many interest groups, you know, you have to have divergent views in terms of how people conceive things. Yes. So, but you, as a person who understands the issues, if you see somebody, you know that, okay, this is a layman opinion, okay, this is an intellectual opinion. You have to differentiate, you know. And sometimes you don't challenge opinion. You just allow them to, you know, you have to honor. Me, I see so many comments on the social media, but certain things I don't comment on them, because for me, I know that it's an opinion. I don't challenge it. I just leave it. But if you are legal minded and I think that, okay, people follow you and you are misleading or you are telling the facts, I will come there and I support you either to emphasize what you are saying or other to correct what you have been saying. But, you know, I think for me, people should, you know, we should respect people's opinion. You will have people, you know, they on their Facebook, they control.
You're not saying that you support Bob irrespective of whether he is found guilty or innocent. I mean, I've seen comments about people like you being called rape apologists. I mean, how do you respond to that?
No, this is not the first time. You know, I always tell people that for me, my conscience always guide me, and you know, this was not the first time. There was so many of this type that happens here before, and I went to the person's house. They said, why should I visit the person? And they start calling me rape apologist. So many people unfriend me, and for me, you know, it doesn't matter. Because of your friend is in trouble, that doesn't mean that, you know, we have seen people here who went to jail or they were accused of crimes. At the end of the day, they found that they were not the people who who have committed that crime, the court found them. So at the middle of the trial, because of somebody's accused, where is the essence of innocent until proven guilty? But, people call themselves activists or human rights defenders, but, somebody who is accused of a crime, you say that people should condemn it, you should disassociate yourself with it because it's just mere accusation that was levied against him. For me, I don't believe in those things, and that's why I refuse not to be remote controlled by anybody. My consent guide me, and I always follow my consent. So those things doesn't move me.
Let me seek your opinion, and this has nothing to do with this trial. One thing that has came out of this whole thing is like a feminist versus. I have seen so many comments online of Gambian men saying, "Oh, be careful who you marry," and stuff like that. I mean, how do you feel about those comments?
Yeah, because it depends the way they handle the whole issue. Some of the, not all of them.
It seems like there's a pushback. On feminism.
Yeah, but it depends on not all of them, because I see some of the feminists who are commenting, and they are very genuine people. But most of them that are wild people start to question because the way they handle the whole issue. Because for them, they want people to take that Bob is guilty by force, even without a due process of the law. They don't want anybody to sympathize with. They don't want anybody to give him his fundamental human right. That is that he is accused of a crime that has to be proved before a court of law, a competent court of law. And that process has not elapsed. You want us to find Bob, sentence him, and prosecute him in social media. That's not how genuine feminists act. So this is why people start to question that, okay, these people, they are not for real. You see them that, even you cannot understand. For them, they don't just want to see anybody like giving Bob the benefit of the doubt. And for me, I don't believe in that. Whoever is accused, even the law, you treated him the person, you give him all the right. He have all the fundamental rights as an accused person. And that must be respected by a genuine feminist or a genuine human rights activist. That has to be respected. Give him all the opportunity. Let him go to the court. And Bob was there. Since the initial stage, there is no single trial that Bob was absent. For the past 2 years, there was a time he went to the court and he was sick. But he could have requested at the prison that I'm sick today, I cannot go to court, and he will give him the opportunity. But he came. But he could not even stand, and he have to request for a chair to sit down in the trial. That shows you how committed he is to try to clear his name in this matter. But we have seen that the case has been adjourned for 33 times. Not from the side of the Bob. Been adjourned 3 times. Not side from the Bob side, but from either the prosecution side and others from the presiding magistrate. So boss is ready to clear his innocence. Give him the benefit of the doubt. But because of you believe that you are a feminist, so for them feminism is you have to only support the rights of the woman. And for me, I don't believe in that.
What do you believe in?
No, I believe in that you have to respect each other. Their fundamental human rights to be given, irrespective of the accused person. If you mean you are unfeminine, you have to give the benefit of the accused person and the complainant.
Both parties.
Both parties. You have to be a neutral person. Analyze the issues and just follow that. You call for justice. And justice means either it can be the accused person, it can be the complainant. It can be even the victim. But for them now, justice is only for the alleged victim, or justice for only the complainant. For the person who is accused doesn't have justice, and there is no law that should protect him. That person should just be thrown and disowned by the society. You can't do that. We have seen so many rape cases, allegations. They go to court and they are free. We have seen allegations that happened just not recently. A footballer from Ghana was accused by a girlfriend. At the end of the day, they investigated. There is no material evidence there to support their case, and they didn't try, and we have seen not recently. So many things. We don't say that, but with their trend, how they are going, they will even make it difficult for us to identify the real rape victims. The way some of the feminists are taking the things. At the end of anything that comes from them, nobody will take it seriously. Because themselves, they are not actually serious in what they are doing. They don't even mean it. They don't even know what is feminism. So at the end of the day, it will be difficult for us to help the real victims of feminism at the end of the day. Because the trend they are taking, they have to remove that gender card in them and just look at the issue in a very critical mind. They analyze the things, not that you want to take side because somebody is a friend, somebody is a family, or she's,
But you can be accused of that too, because you are attached to this case and you are close to Bob. So they could say that, you are also, so attached to this because maybe perhaps an interest group and stuff like that.
Go back to my face. I write a very serious article about this case, and I told them very clear, because people start asking my opinion, and I said that, go back and read. I could not remember, but I make it very clear to Bob that I'm here and I give the benefit of the doubt to Bob, but if it is found wanting, I will be the first person who will come back to this Facebook to condemn him. But at this present time, I feel that he should be given proven guilty, and I have to give him that. And that's not from me. It's the law that have empowered, that have given him that right. That is a birthright, and I cannot take it from him. So I will give him that benefit of the doubt in respective of our friendship. But if it is found wanting, I will be the first person to condemn him. And I will make sure that he spend whatever is the punishment that is it is punishable according to the law. I will definitely call for the authorities to enforce the law up to the ladder. But I must give him that his right, and this is what people fail to understand. Nobody, all those who are behind board, nobody said that state go and free Bob. We said give him free and fair trial. That's what we are saying. Nobody said that go and free Bob. You will never hear it from anybody. But we want him to have a free and just hearing before a competent court without any delay.
So everyone is coming after the other person in this rape case, and even journalists are not an exception. They say, don't talk about this, don't discuss it, and I fully understand contempt of court. So do you think that this case is being reported objectively? Because we've seen even journalists have taken, position on the matter.
Yeah, actually, I have not seen much from the media house because, like, for me, I'm so passionate about court's proceedings and that of the National Assembly, so I always go there, but I'm not wearing any journalist cap as we speak right now. But, the way because this is a very serious issue. For the first time, maybe in the history of our country. So I think it should have attract so many interest from all media houses in this country. But few months back, if you go to the court, you barely even see a media house in the court. It's only maybe one, or sometimes there'll be no media house in the court. So you like, if I was not there, it would not be reported. So I think it was not actually reported as it should be from the side of the media. It's just now recently, like just the last sitting, I think I see almost 11 media houses in the court. So we can't just wait until the matter, when there are controversy, we start to show attention, because at the end of the day, you lose track of the whole process. So like, for example, some media house, if you go there, you tell them, let them give you a brief history of these events. If they want to talk about they can't, unless they rely on a second-hand information. You don't know whether that person has at least reported a correct information or accurate information from the court. So I feel like it's not given the due it should be from the media house. So
you are among the people who demanded an investigation from the police. As a matter of fact, you were among 4 people. I remember you, Nene Frida Lamin, and Sirifo Sonko. You lodged a complaint to the police. Take us through that. Why was it so important for you, as a group of concerned citizens to go to the police? Why did it have to go to that level, that citizens have to go to the Gambia police to say, look, you have to open an investigation into this?
Yeah, we are all, we constitute the government. We, the citizens, and any other person constitute the government. And in such of these issues, it's only in the Gambia, but sometimes you have what we call another set of government that would be at least a side that will be constituted by the citizens to hold government accountable in terms of their responsibility. And we have seen it so many. You can call it an association, you can call it an IOLA, anything. So for us, when we look at this issue, this is not even the first attempt that we have done. Maybe people are not aware, but even the issue of Nene, the land case, Nene was not part of it because we deliberately removed her, but we are working on even suing the government at a court in regards to not respecting the court orders, because we believe that the court is the only hope in this country, and a country whereby court orders are not respected, then we don't have a country. And we are working on that, to sue the government, the IGP, for not adhering or respecting the order of the courts. So this is a concerned citizen that we want the country, for the institutions to work as they are expected of, and that of all organs of the government, because their sole responsibility is to protect the welfare of the citizens. And we found out that a Gambian has died. And he died in a very mysterious way that it needs to be investigated. And we waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days when the news was broke, 5 days, 6 days. We didn't hear from anything from the state. At least they could have said, even they don't have gathered any, they could have come out and tell us that, okay, we are in the picture of these things and we have already started an investigation and you'll be informed duly. At least citizens will know that at least institutions have taken. So when we waited, we see that, okay, still now, and we discuss among ourselves, we said we have to take a step. And the best step that we can do, because at the end of the day, others were saying we have to go out and demonstrate. We say, no, that's not the best approach now. There are authorities that are in place. Let's go and confront them and ask them first. We lodge an official complaint where we will have a reference diary. And we can give them a lifespan of a time frame of at least 1 week, 2 weeks. If we didn't see any action, the next minute we will write to the Inspector General of Police to hold a demonstration, first at the Child Welfare Department and that of the Child Protection Alliance and at the Inspector General of Police, and we will write to all the relevant institutions to make sure that investigation is launched. But thank God, when we reached at the police station, first we started at Bundung police station. We met senior officers there and we had a discussion and they welcomed the idea. But they also directed us to the headquarters in Banjul, where the child welfare department is. And we went there, we had a very fruitful discussion. They were very open up and we discussed. They are very full and they said they are concerned and they have already started investigating and they give us information that we cannot share for now. But they told us that they are on top of the game and they have gone too far in the investigation of the issue. We say, well, that's awesome. But we were then asked to go to the commissioner of CMC and we had a very good discussion with him and saw us that the police will investigate and anybody who is found wanting will feel the full face of the law. And this was it was not apolitical. We feel like a citizen of this country, has died in a very mysterious way, and we want an investigation to be done for justice for Mohammed. And this has been our objective, and thank God that the police are in the picture and they have do the right thing by contacting people who are within which they suspect that they are within the death or the death surrounding Mohammed's death. So they have called questions. Some are invited at the police station and they are waiting. And already we have seen the statement of the police so
yes,
far.
2 arrests have been made.
2 arrests has been made, and they have contacted their counterparts in terms of how they can bring us the Senabo and the dead body of the child into the country, so that further investigation can be conducted to examine and determine what was the cause of the death
of
the child. So that's a very good move from the police, and we recommend them. But still now we will be monitoring the situation, and if we feel like we are not satisfied, we own this country, we have to dictate how the country will govern. We will do the right thing, but we will do it in a very diplomatic and a professional manner.
We will continue monitoring this story as well and keep our audience updated about this whole thing. And now, just before I let you go, of course, in your capacity as a politician, because you mentioned Nene and President Barrow, and now the land in the center of this whole case, some things have emerged again. Just yesterday, we saw a purported email from Radisson Blu saying that they have no projects in the Gambia. The OIC has since responded with their own press release saying, asking the public to basically disregard that information and describing it as fake. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually, people are not sitting and people are doing their investigation in regards to who they claim, was the one who was interested in the land, and they have been having some communication in regards to people are digging into issues. So maybe, there is an allegation actually that the man, his track record of business that he has been doing, is not in line with all the legal procedures, and he's accused of being involved in fraudulent activities and so many things. So maybe that's what they came up or realized, and they also start to question, or maybe the land in question is before the court, and no company wants to partner with anybody, a issue of a land that is before the court. All these things are assumptions that people are saying, and this is why everyone is distancing themselves from it. And I will advise anybody that unless this matter is clear before the court, no serious company should involve or even participate in trying to build a hotel there, because it shows that any institution that is very responsible institution, because a matter cannot be a competent court like the Gambia High Court, make a judgment in regards to a company, because you have to look at all the legal requirements before you invest your money into anything, because tomorrow you might gain a loss there, because this is a matter that is before God, and these people own this place legally, and they have all the documents, and we have the highest authority in this country is the courts. And if the court says that they are the legal owners of the country, then there is no other authority that can surpass that decision. And for me, that has been my position, and I have so many arguments with people in terms of social media. They were actually writing against me, but they don't understand that the court is the only instrument that we, the citizens, can rely on, and is the last hope of this country. But if court orders can be just disregarded, then we don't have a country. Let us just pack things and go.
Then there is a problem.
So this is why, this is my position. For me, if the government wants, let them follow the legal way, and they go to the same court, and that court will declare that now NENA cannot be, the global homes cannot be regarded, they cannot be called as the property. They have now seized the land, the leasing process, everything is cancelled in a due process. This has been my position. I'm not against the government, but as far as my court That is here said that Nene is the property. I recognize the Global Home has they are the properties, and we will fight this. People think that we are joking, but we will follow this matter, to the relevant authorities and wherever we can take this matter to make sure that our government respect our courts. We will do that, and we are working on that, and we are consulting legal people to draft something and take it to the courts.
Citizens, journalists, and political commentator, thank you very much, Kex, for coming through to the Fatu Network News Review. Let us take some news happening elsewhere. According to reports, the United States will send 4 more high-mobility rocket systems to Ukraine in the next package of security assistance, which will be officially announced later this week, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said on Wednesday. Also, a full cutoff of Russian gas supplies to Europe combined with a cold winter could reduce the average EU gross domestic product by up to 1.5% if countries do not prepare in advance. The European Commission has warned. By comparison, in a normal winter, a full Russian cutoff could reduce average EU GDP by up to 1% if countries fail to prepare, the EU's executive arm said. That will be it for today's news review. Do join us tomorrow if you can. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.